resolution that might help the people. So the first option that we are looking at is the displacement proposal. So if we examine uh, the controversial displacement proposal, our first option, uh, uh, I think the first question that comes to our head is who advocates for the displacement proposal? And what are the basic reasons for considering it as a viable solution? So, any thoughts from the panelists? I think Fasli and Harun are here. So, what are your thoughts on the displacement proposal?
Well, hello to everyone. So the question about the displacement, of course, that is a goal of the Israeli state for many, many decades, actually, because they are thinking that this problem regarding Gaza and West Bank cannot be solved with only viable solution with the operations or military operation, what they are thinking. And for very long, actually, their idea, like we have listened for 1 week ago when the whole war started, the former foreign minister of Israel stating that the best idea is to bring these Gazans out of Gaza and bring them into Egypt or Jordan, which was of course rejected from both of these states. There is of course many discussion and also disagreement in the Islamic world when they listen to Jordan and Egypt and their stance towards refugees. But actually, in one thing, these both countries are very right because they know very well from very beginning the plan of Israel. As soon as these refugees or the Gazans are crossing the border, the Israel's main plan was from very beginning to close the doors and to solve or maybe to look to solve this problem for many years, but will never allow again to them return to their homes. So that would be actually a goal of ethnic cleansing on a different style. So I think the idea about the displacement or maybe temporary to bring the Gazans over the border is absolutely a no-go. And the international community need to act in that sense, not to allow this happening. But of course, Israel will, the next days after the start of the ground operation, very much pressure, and we will see more and more brutal pictures and videos coming out that maybe will pressure also the international community to think about this kind of a solution. But I think this is not a solution. This would be only solution for Israel, and we can call it just like the Nazi regime, the end solution, so that the Gazans, the Palestinians, will lose their home forever. So I think this needs to be out of the table. And if there is any other question, I can answer this. That is my point right now about the situation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Harun. We will go around the panel and then go with the next question and prompt. Firstly, your starting thoughts on the question and the displacement proposal.
Sorry, I was cut off. Could you please rephrase that?
Yeah, so basically, we are looking at different proposals which have been going around and then proposed in different eras. And the first proposal is the displacement proposal. And the main question that was asked by the panelists as a prompt was that basically who advocates for the displacement proposal and what are the reasons for basically considering it as a viable option.
Okay, let's go into this with a little bit more detail. So the displacement solution is actually, it was already said, that is ethnic cleansing. So let's not forget the Palestinian people already have been displaced. So there was or there still is a very big Palestinian community in Jordan. There is a very big Palestinian community in Lebanon. And a lot of these people actually came back to the West Bank. So we already had the displacement, but it was not finished. Or better saying, it was finished in some parts of Israel. Now, let me state clear. I do see the problem of this conflict, and I do think that Israelis as well as Arabs have the right to coexist peacefully. So there is no doubt that the Israelis do have a right to be there as much as the Arabs have. Now, going into the displacement solution, that would basically, let's see what this would mean. It would mean that the Arabs leave Gaza, and that Gaza, which is now in the eyes of the Palestinian state, is stateless piece of land. There is no sovereign state. That's the Israeli standpoint. There is no sovereign state which exists in Gaza. It is temporarily administered by an entity, namely Hamas. That would mean if the Arabs are displaced from Gaza City and Khan Yunis, it would mean that the Israeli state would most probably claim sovereignty over Gaza. So this already happened. You know, the 1967 borders, as agreed with the United Nations and the respective resolutions. So Gaza used to be a lot bigger if you look at the 1967 borders. So there already has been a displacement, and today we do see kibbutzes there. Most probably, the Israeli authorities would go for a solution that would place kibbutzes or other settlements over there. The terror attacks, 7th of October, carried out by Hamas, have been within this from borders of Gaza. That is to note here. I do think that this cannot and must not be accepted by neither the Arab side nor the moderate Israeli side, because this would just mean ethnic cleansing. That is it. Nothing else. That is ethnic cleansing. Because if we look at the situation of Palestinian refugees in, for example, Lebanon, they are much worse off than the indigenous population. So this is and cannot be a viable solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Presley. I'll go straight to Shaji. Shaji, your thoughts on the displacement proposal and who advocates it, and then any thoughts on the initial prompt?
Okay, thank you very much. Am I audible? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. So I think the first question, rather than in terms of displacement or the song River to the Sea and the way that statement has a historical thing, whether you're talking about displacement of Jews, Palestine, or the Palestinians, it's kind of not plausible if we look at it in the current situation. And it does mean ethnic cleansing of one way or another, because none of those sides are going to go out of that land in a peaceful way. They're not going to just one day decide that we're just going to move out. So again, there are groups on both sides who actually are looking to do that. I would say, like, you come across a lot of people on the Palestinian side as well who believe that that is one day possible. But that is more of something you can say a thought, which would be very hard to articulate and turn it into a reality without